Hey, everybody. Just wanted to take a minute to introduce myself and welcome you to the course. You are in English 1302, sometimes referred to as Composition 2 in the Summer 2 session of 2023. So hopefully you're signed up for the right course. My name is Tina Altum. I have been an instructor for Weatherford College for going on 7 years now. I have taught also as an adjunct in West Texas at South Plains College, and I worked as a writing specialist for Texas Christian University. I worked with their athletes on writing, taught them how to write papers and all about academic writing. So that was more of a tutoring one-on-one situation, but really enjoyed that. I've taught high school English as well, and speech and music and theater. So I've had kind of a varied educational background. I've also, outside of teaching, I've worked in marketing with a textbook company. I have been a customer service trainer and been a travel agent, worked for an airline. So had a few things going on, and all of that before I'm just like, 20, because that's practically what I am. I wanted to also introduce you a little bit to the course and hopefully help you get started and maybe answer some questions that you may already have or answer some that you didn't know you had. All right, so let me share my screen here and take you into the course. So when you get signed into your course, this is an unpublished course because I'm still adding information to it. So it'll look a little bit different, but basically you'll have your announcements at the top of the page, and then you'll have your modules under here. There will be a total of 5 modules, but all that will show up to you at this point is 3, because we're going to hit on the first 3, those first couple of weeks. A lot of information in there, and I want to make sure that we focus on that before we move to the next ones. I've told my summer classes before that, there's a lot of good things about taking summer courses. This class takes 16 weeks if you were to do it in a semester situation. It only takes 5 to 6 in the summer. So that's great. However, the college still requires that you cover the same material. So we go from 16 to 6, and we have a lot to cover in a short amount of time. So understand going in that you're going to be in a situation that requires some commitment and some dedication. You're going to have a lot of work to do. Know that going in. So if it's not something you think you want to do right now, you know that early on. And you can drop it or move on to something else if you want to. I apologize. Those are my dogs. And I have 4 of them, so they can be a little bit noisy. Anyway, so I just kind of want to give you a heads up about that. It's a lot to cover in a very short amount of time. And so it's just a little bit different than the standard course. So looking at what we have in the module or on the homepage, first thing you see are it's announcements. I've lost the ability to speak. Announcements are something I'm going to use those a lot. So there is a place when you look at your information for the course where you can set up notifications. Do that so that you will get a notification by text or email, however you prefer to do it, that something has been posted in the announcements or on the announcements page. I will use that if there's an issue, like a technical issue or a last minute change that's come up. Things happen from time to time. And for me, the quickest way to reach you is to post something in the announcements because it goes to everyone in the class all at one time. So make sure you do that and check those announcements often. And your email as well, because there will be times that I may need to get in touch with you directly and I'll be emailing you. So get in the habit of checking that your college email, your Weatherford College one. Underneath your announcements, you've got kind of your start here module is what I call it. There's a few things I want to just touch on. The start here literally gives you like a sort of a list of details about the course that you need to pay attention to. First of all, it talks a little bit about what the course does, the purpose for the course, which is analysis. It's about writing, yes, but the idea behind that is critical thinking. I'm hoping to teach you how to think critically through analysis. And once you've done that, you can formulate your thoughts into the written word. So it's kind of a two-part deal. As a student, I'm going to learn how to think critically, and then I'm going to be able to translate that into written form in the form of a paper. So there's some different ways to look at it, but think of it as more than just a writing course is what I'm kind of thinking. If you've never used Canvas before, make sure to take a few minutes and go through. There's a student introduction to Canvas. There's some tutorials that are available for you here. Some of you may have taken 1301 at a different college or institution, and so Canvas is new to you. There's lots of tools there in that number 2 that you can use that will help get you where you need to go through the course. And if you have trouble, let me know as well. I'm certainly happy to try to help you. The key to the course is making sure you read everything. And I know you have a short amount of time, and this is not the most exciting reading you've ever done. I get it. But there are some things that are foundational to your learning in this course, and you really need to understand it well. And that's going to require you to dig into that textbook a little bit. So understand that there's some reading that you're going to need to do to make sure that you're on top of what needs to be covered in the course. Okay. If you have questions, again, email me and I'll show you my contact information. It's right there on the page, but then I'll show you the syllabus here in just a second. It goes on to talk about that when you take a course, a college course, the idea is that you, on average, spend 45 hours in that full semester course. Well, the truth is you're covering the same amount of material in a 6-week course. So that doesn't change. So when I went back to when I was saying how important it was for you to commit to the time that's required, I wasn't messing around with that. It's a lot. But if you want to do well in it, and I hope you do, prepare yourself for that. Get into it, understand what you're doing, get your work done, and you'll be done really quickly. So if you need to talk to me, number 5 there talks about setting up an appointment for one-on-one conferences. I don't have an office on campus. And as this is an online class, the easiest thing for us to do would either be to speak by phone or through Zoom. So again, I'll show you my contact information here in a second, but you can text me and let me know that you'd like to set up an appointment, and then we can do that either through Zoom or on the phone. You can always email me, no matter what time of day. I don't get information about that to wake me up or anything. So send me a message if you need to, if you're working late into the night, and I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. I'll be checking my email on the daily to make sure, several times a day, to make sure I'm getting back to you if you need it. You will be using formal academic style. This is all third person. You won't be saying I or me or we or us. When you are analyzing something, you're really kind of taking yourself out of the picture, which sounds weird because it's your interpretation of what you're seeing, but you're describing it from a third person point of view, how someone else might see it. So we'll go into that more, but there's some information in that link there about formal academic style. So I encourage you to look at that. The next couple there talking about the discussion boards. They give you an opportunity to practice for some of the major assignments upcoming, and I give you feedback on those. So please take advantage of that. I've had students in the past say, oh, they don't seem like they're worth much, I'll just skip that. But then the opportunities that they've had for me to guide them and direct them for their big assignments are gone. And that adds up. They're not worth a lot, but when it comes down, if you just decide not to do them at all, it really can affect your grade. So dive in there. And again, that's a resource by giving me information to give you feedback on. And then the next one talks a little bit more about what to do within those discussion boards to give you the best possible score. Grades are available to you anytime. So take a look at, there's a link on the left-hand side of your course there. Stay on top of that. Things happen. You might think that you uploaded something and it didn't go. And when you click on grades, you'll see that it was never submitted. So I'm going to encourage you now, and I'll remind y'all that whenever you submit something, you submit it, then you click on it again. Once you've done that, click on what has been posted to make sure it's there. I can't do anything if you tell me that it was posted, but it doesn't show up. As far as my end of things, it was never received. You never uploaded it. So stay on top of that. If you have problems, technical problems, there are ways that we can work with that. We've got a great IT department on campus too. So stay on top of it. You can let me know if we need to dig into that a little bit. There are a couple of tutoring options on campus that don't require that you go there. Tutor.com and then the Writing Center both have services available to you that the college pays for. So they're included in your tuition. You can get them over here on the left-hand side. Right here, the WC Academic Support Center tutoring is the tutor.com. And then right here is the Center for Research and Writing, the CREW. They are writing tutors, and you can send them through email your paper, and they can provide editing guidance, and they can help you turn in a really clean paper. So I'm going to encourage you to use them whenever you have the opportunity. And then lastly, take a moment to introduce yourself. Let me go back to the modules and show you that discussion. Right here, it says introduce yourself to the class. So if you click on that, it's a discussion board. It is not graded. It is not required of you, but I would ask that you take a few minutes, let us know a little bit about who you are and your background. And we're kind of in the trenches together for the next little bit over a month. And so anything we can know about each other to provide assistance in how we help each other will be great. I gave you a little bit of an example right here as it talks about me and where I come from and my family a little bit and stuff there. So you can take a look at that if you're interested at all. And it just gives you a model of what you can do on yours. You can also do a video. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but it would be helpful for me to get to know each of you a little bit. So if you'll take the time to do that, I would appreciate it. Again, not graded, not required. Okay, so then we have the course outline, and this is essentially the syllabus. So it will show you my contact information. I told you we were going to look at that. It's right here. My Weatherford College email, and this is a work phone number. So again, text me first to let me know that you're going to be calling, and we can set up a time to meet. You're welcome to call. I just don't know that I'll be able to get right back to you. So, or take the call right then. This talks a little bit more about the course description, the objectives you'll be covering, the required materials like the book, which you should hopefully already have since you already have a reading assignment that starts today. The evaluation standards, so how you'll be graded, your grading scale, and then the academic integrity policy, late work policy, AI policy, which is new to the college in this past year. And then the open door policy, which simply says that I will be making sure to answer any emails within 24 hours of receiving them, probably less than that, at least Monday through Friday. On the weekends, I may not be readily available. I'll still try to check it when I can, but it's important to me for you to know that I'm here to help you. I love helping my students. So if something comes up and you need assistance and you can't find the answer in the course, because there's a lot of tools and things available for you there, please don't hesitate to reach out. Okay. And then the ADA and the hope statement. So take a little bit time to read through that. I don't want to just take time you guys can read. So I don't need to do that. And then the course calendar. And this basically shows you every assignment you have and the dates that those will be due. I'm going to make an adjustment on each one of the rough draft and peer review due dates. I'm splitting up the rough draft and the due date. So I will, that will be updated probably by the time that you log in. I'm hoping that will be updated and you'll see that it's a little bit different, but you should be able to see when everything is due. Things come up, things happen. If we have to make adjustments to that, we will do that. I will let you know through an announcement, and I will be sure to keep this living document updated. Back into that module, there's, of course, the introduce yourself discussion board, a little bit about my grading philosophy. So read through that. This document is a little how-to on some of the things that you'll run into in the course. We will be using the Weatherford College Library database for a few things. This gives you some instructions on how to get in there, and then what you do once you get there. There is a link here. How do I do in-text and works cited citations? So there's, again, a link here to the Purdue OWL, which is generally considered to be the writing Bible. That will give you lots of tools and resources there. And then some of the questions that students have over the years tend to run into. We've, as instructors, have asked our students to let us know what are some of the questions that they've run into. And then we've done a little project with them where they worked on finding the answers to some of those questions in the textbook. And so there are page numbers that will direct you to answers to some of those questions. These are good ones too. So it's like a little table of contents, if you will, for needing information in the course. We go back to the modules, and in that module, the only other thing is your first assignment, which is the plagiarism discussion. So let's touch on that really quickly. There are 5 sources for you to look at. And the goal is here to talk about what plagiarism is and how to deter it. I know that you've heard a lot about academic integrity in your educational career. It's not new information to you. It changes pretty frequently what's considered to be academic dishonesty, but it boils down to knowing that sharing your own original work is what needs to be done. But in this assignment, you go through those 5 sources, and the question that says, which of the following sources is most helpful in deterring plagiarism and why? And then, did you learn anything new from these sources? And you may not. It may be stuff you already know, and that's great. But there's a chance you might see something that you hadn't considered before. So take a look at that. You notice the sentence above it says you are responsible for knowing what plagiarism looks like and writing with integrity. You're responsible to do that. And your original work is what we will be grading. Anything turned in that isn't your original work, it will be failed. So it's not something that you want to take a chance and do. We have plagiarism checkers and AI detectors and things built into our system. And we're getting better and better at working through those situations when they come up. So keep that in mind going forward. Okay. Enough about that. And then we move into, so once you've gone through, kind of read through those, once you've gone through that, then you have your first module, which talks about analytical writing. You will need to read chapters 1 and 3. Those are foundational to the course. You need to be comfortable with the information that's in them. There are some lecture notes that are a part of the module, and then I will be doing a brief video about that too. That will be included in this module. But those two chapters are foundational. You really need to understand what's in those. And then chapters 10 and 11 are not necessarily something that you need to read through word for word. It's a resource for helping you write academically well. There's some grammar and mechanics information in there. There's organization tips and things like that. So it's a resource. Know where to find information you might need. Look through it well, and then we'll talk about some of the highlights in the lecture notes. And then you have a discussion. Your next discussion is due on the 17th. So you see your first discussion's on the 15th, and then you have one on the 17th. It moves quickly. So make sure you're staying on top of everything. That's really, really important. And then we get into your first paper, which I will leave for another video, but that kind of tells you a little bit about what to expect in the course and what to expect from me, hopefully. My goal really is to be a guide for you, to facilitate your learning, and to be here if you need me. So take advantage of that opportunity. Do some work, see what you can find. If you have some questions, there's a lot of resources available to you because we're not meeting face to face. There's going to be times when I won't be available and you'll need some answers. So there's good resources available. But take advantage of what's there. And then of course, let me know if there's anything that I can do to help. I hope you're looking forward to the class a little bit. I always look forward to getting to work with my students in my college classes. So I'm excited about that, and hope that we will be able to learn some good stuff together. So make sure you reach out, enjoy the course, and I'll be talking to you soon.